these are the facts that
Well, good day, guys. Jeff from the Frothy here. You may have heard of some dramas happening here in Tasmania, mainly Hobart, about an AFL team that we've been granted a licence for. I'm standing here at the proposed site of where the stadium's going to be built. And there's been a lot of dramas going on about people who want it and people who don't want it. And I just wanted to come out and give you a quick look. I've been living in Hobart now for 17 years, and this is pretty much exactly what it's looked like for the last 17 years. And, you know, the benefits to having the stadium, you can see the city just behind us, the mountain on top. It's in prime position, the same as, you know, when you go into Melbourne and you're driving along the highway and you're looking out. Where's Marvel Stadium? Where is it? You know, when you finally see it, or walking past the MCG, it's iconic. And we have a chance here to build something iconic right on the doorstep of this beautiful city. They say that based on information from WA and the Adelaide Oval, that this stadium will bring in $170 million into Tasmania every year. And you can imagine all the hotels will be full, all the restaurants will be full, the airlines will be full, Uber drivers, cab drivers, everything's full. So tonight is a discussion, a debate on where everyone stands with this vacant lot, which could be a mega stadium for Hobart, Tasmania. This is the Friday Frothy.
Guys, I'm Brad Hughes. You're listening to the Friday Frothy. What a fantastic show.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Friday Frothy here on a Friday night. Hey, Glennie, we've got another guest on tonight.
We're very fortunate to have something that's very dear to my heart.
It is.
And a man that's taken it upon himself, which I'm so proud of him.
Yep.
In welcoming Mark Brown.
Yeah, Mark.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Mate, no pleasure. It's absolutely brilliant. Look, mate, we can see the Yes AFL team, Yes Stadium. Guys, on the mainland, you would have seen the intro. If you're on Facebook, we're on Facebook yet?
Yep.
We are? If you're on Facebook, you wouldn't have seen the intro, and it was me walking around Hobart having a look at the proposed site of where the stadium is going to be. You can jump onto YouTube after this is finished and you can have a look at that. Mate, you have jumped on board with the AFL team in Tasmania because I'm going to be the first one to say that I thought it was a done deal. When I first heard that the team, we got the tick.
I think we all thought it was.
I thought that's a done deal. It's all happened. And then you put a page up on Facebook saying, yes, AFL team. And I'm thinking, what's going on? It's not a done deal. So you're doing the...
No, it's not. Well, I was in the same boat as both you. I thought, yep, you know, the licence is announced and we've got it. And then started hearing all this negative feedback from the Greens and Labor and that. And people saying, we don't want this stadium. Well, you know, I got sick of it actually seeing it on the news every night. Everyone's saying, we don't want this, no one wants this.
Yep.
Well, on my own voice, I want this. And, you know, we've almost got 21,000 members.
That's crazy.
On our group now.
How quick was that? How long have you been on for?
We cracked over 20,000 about a week and a half ago, so just under 3 months. So we've been going since the 4th of May.
Well, I tell you what, if you took it around Australia, I reckon it'd be about 51,000 because I can tell you now, it as I said, this is something where this team probably should have been in there 20 plus odd years ago. This should have happened, and we've bellyached. Let's be very honest here. We've bellyached in that for this side, and we've you know, there's been some fantastic footballers We had some good juniors coming through. We've lost that, I believe. I think our local competitions now, Mark, that's what it's showing. They're struggling. There's some damn good kids in it, but it drops off very quickly. Statewide league is struggled. We haven't got a northern representation there at the moment, and I think that this was going to be, as far as I was concerned, or a lot of guys that played at the top level and administrators and umpires and that this was going to be the I suppose the lifesaver to Tasmanian football. And mate, we congratulate you.
Well,
well
thanks. I'm in the same boat as you. Like, thought, once it's announced, yes, it's going to really boost football and everyone's going to jump on board. And unfortunately, there's quite a few that aren't for it at all.
It's a pretty common thing here in Tasmania, there, guys. If you're watching on the mainland, we'll call it Australia. A lot of things get voted down here in Tassie, don't they? Like everything that goes to Parliament seems to get voted down.
Yeah, so. and that's the shocking thing of it all. Anything that's going to benefit basically the tourism and bring in tourists for the state, gets pretty much shut down. The cable car is a prime example.
Well, I'm just going to say two things. First of all, sorry we're late, guys, because we were just having some dinner and I've just spilled raw food down my shirt. So that's the main reason why we were late. So I apologise for that.
And the producer apologises for the Facebook hiccup.
Yeah.
We had it streaming and then I cut and then we had to go back to stream again. So I apologise for that.
So sorry for any issues there. But what I was going to say to you is, when I did that little walk around the proposed site, I did say, because I'd heard, I don't know if this is gospel or not, and also, guys, if you've got any questions, just chuck them on there, we'll try and get to them. I said that the stadium and the football will bring $170 million a year into Tasmania, which is what I've heard from reports of what they've based on Adelaide Oval and Perth. And I was looking at that today, I think, I hope I haven't made a mistake. And I did the sums, and I think that's right.
Yeah, well, I had some information sent to me earlier by a gentleman that's pretty well up with figures and stuff like that. And there's been studies done by two expert accounting firms that have come out and said that there's minimum of $160 million plus going back into the economy. And the team itself, is around $40 million of money going back into the economy as well. So
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a no-brainer. It's money for jam. Just quickly, sorry, Glennie, I know you got a question there. Just want to say hello to Rob, Juanita, Ange. So glad to see you back.
Well done.
It's time to Tassie to have their own team from Juanita, Western Australia. Thank you. Rob Thompson, I worked at Bellerive in 2015 Cricket World Cup. Yes, I was the guy that removed the Blundstone. Oh, you got in trouble for that. I know you did that one. Tassie footy team, yes. G'day, lads. TDK, that's Tim. Basil Fraser, thanks for joining us, Basil. Well done, Mark. It's just sort of progressing, so Basil. So thank you, guys. Glennie?
Just the same old thing. I just think that, obviously I go and follow my football and that, and, I reckon for every Tasmanian guy that I think I spoke to Mark earlier, that we all go for no doubt, if you're AFL, you go for an AFL side down here, and I don't see anything wrong with having two sides, but which I'd be passionate enough to be following a Tassie side. But I think the other part of this equation is that it's not just about the footy. We want the football, that's the big part of it, but also what that stadium will bring in other terms, which is going to be music concerts. It'll be anything from motorbikes going over.
It's a conference centre.
The conference centre. That we're going to have a high performance centre. Now that may be at Bellerive, because Bellerive is a white elephant. But I know, because I worked. I worked there. I did work there doing work. I'm a tradie, but there's not a lot going on there. Lights had to be off at 10 o'clock at Bellerive. So for any of the politicians that said, why don't we put it down at Bellerive? I played down there at Bellerive Oval for many years, and I know a lot of guys, better footballers than I ever was, that played there for a lot of years. And yes, it's come a long way, that oval, but you know, as I said, the lights are going to be off at 10.
Indeed.
It's heavily in residential.
Yep.
And where this side is that Jeff's walked around and Mark and everyone else and the politicians and all the AFL people, it is out on a point where it hasn't been developed. We can bring in, I think one part of our tourism for Tassie is our boats.
Yep.
So that to me is somewhere we could get those boats going back and forward. Instead of the poor guy out at Mona doing everything there with you know, the Mona and also
Captain Phil's.
Captain Phil's. And all that.
Captain
But
Phil's.
we could also run rail.
Yeah, for sure.
And where I'm going with this is because that they said it would be hard to get in and out of there.
It
Hello,
won't be.
we're in the city.
Yeah.
Most your places, Optus is in the city.
Yeah.
Basically in the city.
Yeah.
We had some Western Australians in here a week ago, 10-pin bowlers, and they said that it is fantastic over there. People of Perth didn't want that, as you brought up before, Jeff.
Yep.
There was a good mate of mine who's passed away, Keith Bradshaw, came and he was running Lords, and he was my captain when I played cricket, and he's gone on. He actually took on Adelaide Oval, and he was in charge of that before he passed away. Adelaide are saying now that is better than the MCG.
It's the best thing they've ever done.
Now that is the best thing that they've ever done,
Yeah.
and I just feel that here we are. We've got this massive opportunity, and I think we're missing the boat, boys.
Mate, how important... Well, actually, first I'll ask you about the press stuff. You've got pretty popular with this
I wouldn't say
Facebook
really
page.
popular. Let me just say that I didn't start this group up or page and that to get any notoriety out of it or to be popular or anything like that.
Yep.
It's just basically to express my view because I'm sick of wanting something that's going to benefit Tasmania and all Tasmanians financially. People coming out saying, we don't want this, no one wants this, no one wants that. Well, there's a lot of us that do. And that is a very frustrating part of being a Tasmanian.
Yeah, it is. We get laughed. Well, let's be honest. I mean,
Well, we are
we're
with
brutally
this.
honest here. We get laughed at.
We
We
are
go
with
to
this.
Queensland and that. Brother over here's been up there for 25, 30 odd years up there. Jeff and Alison, they've lived up in Brisbane. They've come here. 17 years they've been here. And I just don't see anything go ahead. Whether it's a Bicheno or somewhere like that, little places there that we're not saying skyscrapers. We're not saying we don't want it to be that. We want to keep its historic and all that. But we also have got to move with the times.
Yeah.
And this is not about people like me at my age and that. This is about the kids coming through that want a pathway. Instead of running around on the streets and saying, well, they've got nothing to do and they get into trouble and all that.
If I can just jump in there, Lenny, I mean, you've only got to look at the Jack Jumpers. They're
well done.
a success story, you know. I don't want to get into politics so much, but Beck White was totally against the Jack Jumpers, the money that was being put into that.
Look at
And
that.
when it opened up, where was she? In a corporate box.
It's almost laughable, isn't it?
It is, but getting back to the kids and that, that's Jack Jumpers has enhanced basketball and for juniors. There's not enough basketball courts currently to be able to handle the influx of kids.
That's right.
Now, building this stadium, multi-purpose stadium, is going to get kids. And I have the issue now with my 15-year-old. Comes home from school. He played soccer in primary school, played club soccer last year. Didn't want to play it this year. What does he do when he gets home from school now? Straight in his bedroom on his phone, or my 16-year-old wants to go on the Xbox. I want something out there for our kids that can aspire to, whether you're a football player or whether you're an umpire. Because let's not leave out umpires as well, because having this stadium, as I said, it's going to benefit everyone, especially our juniors now, because it gives them a dream to now look forward to, that rather than have to go to Melbourne, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, you know,
They can be
blokes
based-
like
based here.
Benny Beams when he was, you know, went to Melbourne.
Ian Callanan.
Ian Callanan,
Yep.
perfect example.
Yep.
Had to go to the
Adelaide.
Sandful
Yep.
Yeah,
for probably 10 years or so before he got a shot at playing AFL.
that's right.
They're the type of people and star players we want to keep here.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
stadium
Well,
is going to do that.
Well, actually, no,
Well,
I got a stat today. It was
that's
that 10% of
Yeah.
the Hall of Famers in the AFL are from Tasmania.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It just goes to show the
Yeah.
amount of talent we've got.
Yeah.
and we want to. Yeah, I think we've lost that now, but I think that there's so many good kids here, and look, it's just proof. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, at North Hobart, here, we was just watching the other week. Okay, our local competitions at the moment around Tassie's not so strong, but put us together, and unfortunately, we still beat Queensland.
Yeah.
So I watched
Yep.
it.
Actually,
Seven,
that was a-
7 to 10 points.
That was the first. You know, I've lived
that
in
was fantastic.
Tassie all my life.
Yeah.
I've lived in Hobart since '95,
Yep.
Yep.
and
credit to
that
those
is
boys.
the first. You know, state of. I wasn't say state
Well,
of
since
origin.
1990,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Since 1990.
It
Well,
was
they're back Victoria.
80. No, not
Was it?
not
99?
96.
Was it
2016. Sorry, I think was the last one.
Oh, sorry, yes, you're right.
And I've never been to one before, and you know, to be a part of it,
Yeah.
was just amazing.
Well, I was lucky enough that to be involved down at Lauderdale later on and helping out a guy coach some kids, including my own son and Sam Siggins, and there are a couple of boys there, young Brycey Walsh, and these lads, they're in that Tasmanian side. I could see the pride just watching, and I wasn't at the game. There you go. So I should have been, but I didn't realise, you know, because it wasn't built up like it should be, but. The pride of those guys to actually put the map, as I call it, on and to run out there since you know, as I said, since that big game too in 1990 when, you know, when we probably forget Tasmania did beat Victoria, and the pride that was spoken about then, and the Rewalts that are on these shows, and all these different guys in Melbourne saying, you know, look, it's about time, we should be, you know, it's our time. Yeah. Well, it is our time,
And if we,
and that's it.
And if I can just quickly speak on just some comments from people on Facebook at the moment. You know, they're in Melbourne this weekend to watch games. You know, they've posted where they've gone with signs, because some people have got some signs off me, take them to the footy. Hopefully, you know, to be screened on TV, and even with stickers. And I've said to people in the private messages, you know, what's the feedback from over there? And the same thing all the time is that people over there think it's a done deal. They cannot believe the politics side of what's going on. You
Why
know,
wouldn't you want it?
we're the laughing stock, and we shouldn't be. We should be all of Tasmania should be embracing this opportunity, because if we don't take it now, it gets taken away.
It's taken away.
And my personal belief is the AFL will blacklist Tasmania.
Oh, for sure.
Never get a licence again.
It won't only be just that, Mark. There was a very good a show that I watched,
We'll get to that, Rob.
and the guy up in where is it? Up in Launceston, main developer up there, Errol Stewart.
Well, he's actually on the task force on the.
Well, he is now. Errol's turned around and he said, and this is a guy that's done some fantastic things, along with you know, the guys from Mona and everything else. But he's trying to push our state, and I think they hit their head up against a brick wall. As he said, if they knock this development back, if they knock this back, the motels, not only in Hobart but in Launceston, Burnie, and all these sort of things, where we keep saying it's all what we live on is our tourism, the beauty of our state. But if we keep knocking it back, the developers and that, it's gonna dry up, Jeff. They ain't coming.
No.
They're not coming.
I know you don't want to talk too much politics, and neither do I. But
it's
I
brought into it.
just want to ask the question.
Unfortunately.
I mean, why are the Labor Party and the Greens so anti the stadium? Why? I mean, I get it. They want to be transparent and they want to see exactly where the money's going and stuff like that. But surely they can see it's going to be a bonus for the state.
Yeah, it is frustrating. I don't know really why Labor against it. You know, Labor in my days, and I grew up as a Labor follower.
We all did.
We all did.
We all did.
Oh,
You know, and I'm ashamed to say that now
Yep.
because of what's happening. And I always grew up knowing that Labor stood up for
That's
the
right.
working class person.
Exactly.
To be against this multi-purpose stadium, you know, and we've said that it's not just football; it's concerts that can happen, festivals. There's no reason it can't be used for Mona, and that would be astronomical.
Well, that's right.
You know, conferences. And I've spoken to some people that you know, Tasmania has missed out on big conferences of 3,000 to 3,500 people because we don't have anything big enough.
Yeah.
This is going to be big enough.
Yeah.
And the one thing I say to people when they say, "Oh, it's only going to be used for football," well, look at Adelaide. They just reached a state of origin rugby game.
Rugby.
The opportunity there is
Yep.
for Tasmania too.
Yep.
Socceroos, Matildas.
Well, cricket. If there could be cricket.
Yeah, it
involved,
could be
didn't it?
2020 cricket.
It all depended on the roof bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it does,
If,
yep.
if it is retractable,
Yep.
you can play your cricket. They could
Yep.
play a test match there if it was big enough. I don't know, but there's so many things. The motorbikes,
Yep.
when they go over the
Crusty Demons,
the Krusty Demon, all that
the
sort of
the monster trucks.
monster. Yeah.
And the thing with having, if I can just say, the one thing that is really, really frustrating to me is the misconception out there by people that are against it and saying that the AFL are blackmailing us to have a stadium. Well, it comes down to what the task force recommended. Now, I've spoken to a lady a couple of weeks ago that was on the task force, and she indicated to me that it was the recommendation of the task force to, down the track, to have a stadium. Now, that was to make the team viable and successful. Now, I know my personal opinion is I wouldn't like to go to Bellerive if it's 10 degrees, pouring down with rain.
I'm going to interrupt you 2 seconds here. I was a North Melbourne member, because I'm a North Melbourne supporter.
Sorry for you.
I know. He's all on just as bad. But anyway, there has been times where I didn't go because I'd rather watch it on TV than go out in the cold weather because it was rainy and it was winding, and you go to Bellerive and it's like a bloody cyclone happening in there. So sorry to interrupt you,
No,
but I
that's
just wanted to say, I as a member, I'm not going. I'll stay home and watch it.
And I had a gentleman that I delivered to because my main job is a delivery driver. And we was talking a couple of weeks back, and he said he went to the GWS game.
Yep.
And he was over on the hill, and he said once the sun went down,
Yeah.
he was freezing.
Yeah.
And he really felt for the people over in the David Boone stand. And he was cold.
Yep.
So for them to be sitting in
It's
the
a
cold
freezing
grandstand,
place.
and exactly, and at least with a roof stadium, you're going to keep dry, you're going to keep warm, you're going to get a better game, better skills,
Yeah.
and you're going to get your money's worth.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And you're going to keep dry.
I don't know if you guys. I've certainly been there with games. It was blowing that hard that the ball would be kicked and it'd go backwards. I remember Boomer Harvey was playing and he kicked it
Look,
once and it actually went backwards.
I think
the wind was that strong.
So did Mark and get a second,
he had another
possession?
crack in it, but he was a
I
gun.
think the general thing is too. One of the big things is my wife. She's a very good Essendon supporter, but I talked her into being a member.
Is that
'cause
such,
that's
a,
what
is
you
that
do
such
as
a thing?
member.
I'm just going to ask. A very
Well,
good Essendon supporter.
yeah,
I mean,
well,
really?
Yeah, anyway,
I
but,
don't think there's such a thing.
I talked her into being a Hawthorn member, just so that we got the seats and the tickets,
Yeah.
which that's the way it works.
Yeah.
So I was just going to point this out, that we go north and we'll go to Launceston. I don't care where it's at.
Yeah.
We've gone up and
It's a
followed
weekend
them.
away, Glennie.
Yeah, I didn't follow them. Well, I've always followed them all my life, but I wasn't going to those games before when we were on top. I'd actually rather follow it now because they are struggling. They've got young kids play. Because I get a bit of a kick now out of seeing, okay, yeah,
Where are
we're
we
down,
going?
but where are we going? Where's our
North
future?
Melbourne's, Melbourne's been going for the last 15
it's
years.
like Mark with a good old Carlton. Yes, we can get back into it.
We've been coming for the last 10 years.
Yeah, still going.
But the thing is, where I was going with this is that, people say, they're following the football up there. There's only, you know, I'll make it up 13,000 or 14,000, and it might be Hawthorn. Now Hawthorn is sitting towards the bottom end of the ladder, and the sides that they're playing, and that's fine, that's okay, that's what the AFL brought out. But you know, they're playing against
or GWS,
the Gold Coast Suns and that.
If I can just jump in there, Lenny, and that's you know, another frustrating thing when you see people from the No Group commenting in public forums on people's we can't even fill you know, Blunston now or UTAS. Well, that's because they're bringing sides down that aren't really followed or here in Tasmania. You know, if you brought one thing that really got me up the other day was a comment that even when Collingwood came down to play Hawthorn in a pre-season game
up north,
in UTAS, we couldn't even feel that. Well, it was on a Thursday night, I think it was. From
it was a Thursday night. So
started
kids got school.
Started at 5 o'clock.
No one's going to travel.
That's right.
Yeah, so it was set up to fail. I think they still got 8,000 or something.
I think,
like
Mark, that the AFL has done that the whole time because they just keep giving us the Sunday afternoon games. And for you guys in the mainland who don't know, it's 2.5 hours. With roadworks, it's 3 hours to get from Hobart to Launceston. And when there's a game on in Launceston or a game on in Hobart, to travel at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when it's already dark in winter, you've got a 3 hour drive. And no one's going to do it.
So what it means to someone like me, I mean, I'm getting a little bit older, but for us to go up, we go up on a Sunday. That Sunday game you're talking about, which is after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, starting to get a little bit dark, a little bit cooler. We stay there. I haven't got a qualm with it.
Yeah, most people
we travel back. Yeah, but we travel back on the Monday because I could possibly do that. But for the norm, the other big thing was, and I got a real shock that where we staying at the Novotel, whatever it was called up there. That there was a heap of, I think when we played, was it West Coast?
Was it
West Coast? West Coast? Whoever. Anyway, I think it was West Coast, but it was one of the games there with.
Is he sponsored by Novotel?
And hello, Novotel.
He wants free combination.
Now, just remember my discount when I stay up there next time. Thank you. But no, we're playing West Coast Eagles, and you'd be shocked. I said to Lou when we went, I said, "Yep, look, I don't expect there to be many people there." Well, the whole foyer at the Novotel was full of West Coast people.
No, it was the Grand Chancellor.
Grand Chancellor.
Oh, you've done your sponsorship.
Sorry. Wrong place. That was a different one.
Double sponsorship.
But no, this is the thing. What I was trying to say, it was packed, and they had busloads of people that were West Coast supporters. So
every time I pour a beer on the show, I always mug it up live. Always.
So I suppose the big thing is if Tasmanians think that it's just going to be Tasmanians going.
No,
forget about it. It's not. They're going to get if they get Richmond or they get
a
Geelong,
prime example.
It's going to be fun.
On that is when Collingwood just recently went to was it Sydney GWS?
I'm sorry, mate. Grand Chancellor. There you go. There. Sorry, okay, sorry.
Corey's already had a go at me about the head on that. Look at that.
There was a reported 10,000 Collingwood supporters travelled from Melbourne to go up, and was it Gold Coast game?
No, it was a Gold Coast.
Yeah, Gold Coast. Gold Coast. Yep. It was reported, 10,000.
90% were Collingwood.
Yeah. Minus their teeth. No, sorry to the Collingwood supporters. No, but and that's the thing. Every AFL side has supporters, whether it's 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, that travel around Australia every week to watch their team play. Now, Collingwood's one of the elite, supporter bases.
Big. I wouldn't say elite. I'd say biggest.
Well, probably around 100,000 people, as members, and probably 60,000 of them are actually humans. No.
Okay, Easter year Collingwood supporters out there.
But no, on a serious note, there's no doubt we would get minimum 2,000 to 5,000, if not more, Collingwood supporters that would travel.
Oh, I reckon you can get more than that.
So mate, is 24,000 seat stadium enough? Is it big enough?
I don't think so. And if people I've spoken to reckon it should be bigger, and even a lot of people in the group reckon it should be bigger. Yeah. But on the flip side of that, I guess
They don't
the
want
AFL
empty
and
seats.
Tassie, they don't want any empty seats,
Yeah.
which I couldn't see there would be.
No, neither. Right.
But the main thing is we need to fill every seat, every game. And I think it's been reported by Rockcliffe or someone that, no, actually our chairman now of the Tassie side,
Grant O'Brien.
Grant O'Brien. I
Grant,
think he
yes,
said that
yes.
it was
O'Brien,
18,000 to sort of break even.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember if it's him or, but I know I've heard something in the last within the last week of something about 18,000. I think it was to sort of break even.
My thoughts on the team, and I don't know about the second year or the third year, you know, if the team's not winning, but hopefully they will be, but I would think the 24,000 seats membership would sell out within the first day.
I have no doubt within, say, a month of memberships being announced, where people can sign up, if we didn't have 40,000 members in a month,
I'd be shocked.
But how does that
I'll eat me hat.
how does that work though if you've got 40,000 members and you've only got 24,000 seats? How does that work?
Unfortunately, it means, yeah, some people.
Build another stadium day, surely.
What's the consensus when that TV ad? When the guy buys a bigger boat, he's going to need a bigger car.
bigger car, yeah.
Well, we're going to have to build a bigger stadium.
There you go, folks. You heard it here first.
I'll bring it back then. We was talking about the jack jumpers. I call them. I was going to say something. Jack jumpers, and look, I know some people that have gone there, and a lot of the chairs, and when they come in, I think they push the chairs around. Retractable chairs.
Yep.
How many get in there, Mark? 2,000 or 3,000?
I think
Full?
consensus
What is
is
it?
about 4.5.
Okay.
I think it is max. And I've heard people say, no, there's not enough.
Not enough,
And
4.5.
there
Well,
you
you
go.
can't get to see a game.
That's right.
You can't jump up and down.
I've been there 2 or 3 games.
Yep.
Last year, and luckily I won the tickets. But even try and buy tickets, there's thousands of people that miss out.
You can't, yeah.
And I think they've capped their membership base at 4.5.
Yeah.
And from what I've been told, there's an even waiting list for people to come as members. And here's a perfect example again
That's
for
where
the
I'm going with
multi-purpose
this.
stadium.
Yeah.
Why couldn't the jack jumpers?
They can throw it in there.
Because they play on a
Yeah.
portable court now.
Yeah.
Why can't they move it in? They
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going with
a
it.
couple,
I know.
a couple of games a
Okay,
year.
So even if they got 10,000,
Yeah.
and they're watching the jack jumpers at our new stadium,
Yeah.
roof on, lights,
Yeah.
all
And
that.
how good would it
And
be?
warm.
Imagine how that would go for the club in terms of raising
Yeah,
some money.
exactly.
And merchandise and stuff like
And,
that. So
and perhaps while they're worried about Bellreeve Oval too, if they need a high performance thing for the players and that, perhaps they can stick that at Bellreeve
Yeah.
Well,
and
they're still doing
actually
work
do
at
something
Bellreeve.
with
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
then
They're
the
working on it
players,
now.
then the players will have somewhere to train as well, which
But
would be good.
I'm just going to quickly throw some money questions at you. And I don't expect you to know this, but this is what I've got, all right? And you can just tell me if I'm wrong or right. And this is for the no people out there. I just want you to bear with me. I know I've got stains on my shirt, so I look like a Collingwood supporter. But anyway, just bear with me because I have spoken to people this week who disagree with the stadium, and they all say to me that no, we need housing. No, we need hospital.
We do.
Now, I just want to say, the current cost, and correct me if I'm wrong, the current cost, and this will blow out, we all know it, is $715 million for the stadium. Is that correct?
and the Tasmanian part of that at this stage is 375.
Right. Yep. So the AFL are throwing in $700 million. Is that right?
No, not the AFL. The government is putting in 240,
240,
and I think the AFL putting in.
320.
No, I think it's a lot less than that actually.
Oh, is it?
Okay, I thought
I
it
think
was
it's.
seven.
I think.
Got my facts wrong?
I'm pretty sure the AFL is only putting in about 15 million.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong.
No.
But they weren't putting in. Yeah.
We'll come back to you on that because,
Well,
I think that's pretty important. But I just want people to understand, and you must cop this all the time, that the money that's going into this stadium is not, if it doesn't go ahead, that money's not going to be there for housing and
It's
hospital,
not
is
at
it?
all, and
It was through the Labor government, wasn't it? That it came through Albanese.
The federal,
we got the
240.
federal. We got the federal funding for this.
Again, without getting back into too much
we
about
get it.
politics,
Yep.
Oh, well.
it's. I find it astonishing that the federal government believe that the business case stacks up
Yep.
for them to give $240 million.
Correct.
Yep.
The Tasmanian Labor are totally against it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're more or less saying
hypocritical.
it doesn't stack up.
No, they're fighting with their own party.
Yep.
And yeah, okay,
Frothy.
you know, the way Liberal went all about it, you know, maybe it wasn't a good idea, you know, to be all in secrecy. But my belief is contracts, a lot of contracts are confidential.
Yeah.
That's right.
And my opinion on that is they had to be sort of quiet about it because they knew that they were going to get knocked back by Labor
Yeah,
and the Greens.
yeah.
So they had to get this signed without them knowing.
Yeah, and I admit, I do applaud Labor. I will say one positive thing about them and the Greens, is that, yeah, they have to hold the Liberal government to account.
Yep.
And it would be the same if it was the roles were reversed.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
you know, it's I applaud them that, and you know they've got to, you know, say the hard questions and stuff like that. But if I can just one last thing I can say about the politics side of it is, okay, Gil McLaughlin and that have come out and said the thing is, and I wish Labor and the No people would really realise this: no stadium means absolutely no team whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now, I can't see why the Labor government can't sit down with the Liberals and say, okay, we don't agree with the way you went about it. There's not much we can do about it now, because if we kill the stadium, there is no team.
And
Now,
we're laughing.
Labor and Greens approach the Liberal government and sit down and talk about how we can make this work for all Tasmanians, all of Australia.
Yeah. Well, let's,
Well said.
yeah, that's it.
Well said.
Well said,
Well said.
mate. Look, and let's do it for the people that actually did put the jumpers on, and you go back to your Hudsons
And
and
give your kids a future.
yeah, but all those great footballers that came through, and the Royce Harts, who I've seen be on TV, and he said, I really want this football side and all that. There's a guy that they played at the top level. They've you know, they want to see, as I said, their grandchildren, their kids, and that be able to have a pathway, as Mark said. And I think that, let's face it, there's a lot of doom and gloom in the moment going around the world. And I think for our kids,
This is positive.
this is just something that, you know, we've got our cooler weather down here, and we embrace the fact that that's the way we are in this state. And, you know, sport has always been a big thing, whether it's soccer, like your boy, or basketball.
Yep.
And I just think that this is something that
Thank you,
we've
Johnson.
needed in this state, and we will, you know, this is where we need to go.
One other thing I'd like to say that a lot of people are forgetting, and especially the No people, they're saying, you know, we can't afford this and stuff like that. Now, there's one thing a lot of people are forgetting is that when the sides are up and running, we're going to have 40 minimum AFL men. We're going to have 30 to 40 AFL women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have, you know, so say 80 people there.
Yeah.
We're going to have a VFL side, aren't we,
Yep.
as well?
Yep. But
Me?
now, so there's 80. You're going to have at least probably 40 to 60 other support staff, all being paid. Now, a year. Between them, there's millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars between all of them a year, all living in Tasmania. Where are they going to spend their income?
Their families, that's right.
In Tasmania.
Yeah.
So that's millions of dollars on top of the revenue that's raised from spectators going to the game, merchandise, membership, food sales and all that. You know, all that money is staying in Tasmania.
Well,
That's going to put millions and millions of dollars, or hundreds of millions of dollars, back into the economy. Therefore,
Into hospitals.
hospitals, build more housing. And people saying, you know, we need housing now. Well, yes, the housing is being built, but the reason it's not being built fast enough that people want it to is we don't have the builders here. The builders that are here now, they do have other projects on. They have to build other houses as well where they make their money. Now, I've spoken to builders and they've said, you know, public housing that they build now, they make bugger all out of. So, and we've had a couple of building companies here already go broke.
That's all over Australia, mate.
Yeah.
Melbourne, Queensland, they're all going broke.
And
So,
$12.1 billion is going into health between now and the end of 2027. So
yeah. Andrew Dobby just put a post up saying that I was
great
completely
legend.
wrong. Thank you, Dobbsy.
Dobbsy.
It wasn't 700 million. It was actually 15 million. So I don't know where I got my figure from, but thank you,
was.
thank you,
Well done,
Dobbsy,
Andrew.
for coming in.
oh, Dobbsy.
But as I said, like we're talking. I saw your notes. You got 160 million a year. I got
Yeah,
170
minimum,
million a year. Coming into the
that's
state.
plus,
So-
yeah.
But you also said that New Tech Glass will put in 5 million.
New Tech Glass is
Who's
putting in
who's
5
that?
million. I like that.
so
Got Andrew Dodd.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that.
and the other thing is,
It's just back
a couple other stats
change,
I've
mate.
got here. There's so there's it's estimated that minimum 160 million
Yep.
going back into the economy, plus the 40 million from the team.
Yep.
So there's more than $200 million a year.
Naming rights for the stadium.
Yep, naming rights.
What about sponsorship? I wonder what sponsors and that the AFL are going to get. I had a good one, actually,
Yeah.
because
Well-
you remember the Devil, and we
Yep.
we argued that we'd get the Tasmanian Devil, and they had to go to Warner Brothers. Hello.
Get Warner
Or
Brothers.
get
Yeah.
Warner Brothers.
Would that be
And
right?
that's
Marvel
the thing.
Stadium, there's the biggest sponsor. We'd be the biggest.
Yeah, Warner Brothers,
If we,
yeah.
if we got in bed with them,
Get on to it, Glenn.
we'd be laughing, mate.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, there you go.
And back when
Think
there
about
was
that.
talk years ago, when Jim Bacon was meeting with the AFL, and it was looking like we may get a license. Mars come on there,
That's right.
over 500 million sponsorship. So, I have no doubt. I mean, obviously, we would get a big major sponsor.
Yep.
That'd be worth millions of dollars.
Rob's-
Yeah. The stadium would be worth probably tens of millions of dollars a year.
Yeah.
And then you got all the smaller sponsors, people like Andrew Lydon Builders, other building companies.
yeah.
And I think we've got the perfect
The Frothy.
chairman, that used to run Woolworths.
Yeah.
Multi-billion-dollar company a year.
Yeah.
If he hasn't got contacts to bring on big sponsors,
Yep.
Well, the other thing is too, you're going to, you were saying about building. Well, it's going to be a construction firm is going to get to be probably not a Voss. It could be a Voss, it could be a Hutchies or one of those Hutchisons or someone else. But the thing is, they've got they can bring in. They're going to have their local. So
Yep,
they're
local.
going to have their local guys that they've got. Then they will bring in guys that will come in to get that project done. Because I do believe there is a bit of a timeline.
Yep.
If we do not hurry up and start to do this and get a yes or whatever, we are going to be starting to pay for this.
Just on touching on what you said about Hutchison and builders or workers coming in from the mainland. I've heard comments from the No people. We won't get any local builders.
we'll
blah, blah,
have
blah.
them.
The thing,
We've got 'em.
The thing
They're
is,
here.
okay, yes, we'll get probably 1,000 or 1,500. I don't know. I'm not saying a specific figure. That workers out of coming from the mainland, but in that 4 years or 5 years
They're
or
spending
3
money.
years, whatever it's going to take to build the stadium, they're living here.
That's right.
They're spending money here.
Yeah.
They're renting places.
That's right.
It's putting extra money into the economy again.
Exactly right.
So
Yeah.
Win-win.
it's a win-win, no-brainer
Yeah, it
with
is.
this stadium.
It is.
Yeah, we've got all the attributes here. We've got boat builders and all that,
Yeah.
welders and everything else. So that the
conflicts of
stadium
boat
will go
builders.
ahead. It's got to go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
If it doesn't,
Sponsor. Somebody on Facebook just said that perhaps they could do a deal with the Jack Jumpers and have the multi
Well,
sports
not
facility
not
going.
Yeah.
so
That's what we're
what a
talking
great
about.
idea.
and why not? And
You-
like
you-
I was getting back to my comment, that why can't the Jack Jumpers play at the stadium?
Yeah.
Even if it's just
Like even
twice
with
a year.
memberships and stuff too. Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
opportunity there.
Well,
Do you think it's
just-
box?
Does that Larry Knight own the entertainment centre now?
yeah,
The
he
Jack
still
Jumpers
owns it.
stadium?
Yep, and he still owns a team. He's trying to sell the team.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's just, I don't know. I'm just.
There's so many. Like whenever you go to do something new, you always work out your pro list and your con list.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when you actually sit down and have a
Coast
look
Guard
at this,
landscaping dome.
and you work out what the pros are for a stadium, what the cons are, I'm seeing more pros than there are cons.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, and I don't understand why that isn't
Yep.
across the board.
And that's the thing, like people that are against it, when we've had many in our group that have been on the fence.
Yep.
They've been in our group and they've been in the no group. And after they've done some of their own research
Yep.
and fact checking, because that's what our group is about. Like when I first started it, I was happy for any no group person to be in it so it can have an open debate.
Yep.
But when you get their nastiness and spreading lies,
Yep.
you know, we will stop that because our group is based on facts
Yep.
and truth. We're not spreading lies. And most people within our group have done, you know, factual checks and stuff like that. And we want to keep it positive. We don't want to be negative and
That gets you nowhere.
No.
exactly. And you know, I've got six other people in the group as administrators helping me, you know, look after the group and that. Any negative comments or any name calling, any swearing like that, because bang, they're gone and they're either banned straight away
Yep.
or those people are put on post approval. So all their posts in future.
Yeah, I also believe that, you know, people have got their say in this. I mean, whether it's a yes or
Oh,
a
of
no.
course.
I just understand, what I'm trying to understand, and I think this is what we're debating. Obviously, yes, we're on the yes team,
Yep.
but we're trying to understand what the no's are. And that's what we're doing tonight
Yep.
as well.
No,
It's not
the
just...
Which
funny
would've-
thing is, Glenn, though, that we're just a bunch of old hacks in a
Yep.
back garage
Yep.
running a YouTube
That's
show,
it.
and we have the intelligence to be able to sit around and have this conversation.
Just sit there.
Yeah.
It'd just be
Yeah.
nice to see that happening.
Yeah, and that's thing, like-
elsewhere.
That's right.
I'll tell you, I'll give you a bit of a laugh here. Last Friday, I was coming back from doing my last delivery, come up to the pass road lights to turn towards home, and I come up behind a gentleman in a car with a no sticker on the back of it. And I bipped the horn at him and he sort of looked. So I had one of my signs here behind me, behind the seat. I grabbed it, held it up to the window, and I gave him the thumbs up, and he sort of turned his head away, and then you know, he looked back and he gave me the thumbs up. And you know, that's respect.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah, yeah.
It shouldn't be this
It's not a fight.
name calling,
No.
abusing.
No, it's
and
not.
I'm happy for any no people.
It's a debate.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if no people want to come into our group that you know, are sitting on the fence and have a constructive debate with us,
Yep.
and say, look, okay, I believe this is this. I'm sitting on the fence. You know, what facts can you provide me that to make me change my mind? And we're not out there to make people change their mind. We just want to be factual and give truthful evidence to back up what we're saying.
Yeah.
And if you're not, if you still don't even believe us or whatever, I encourage anyone to go and do some research, and if you've got time, to sit down and read the AFL Task Force report, because that explains everything.
Yep.
The great Hawthorn coach, and I still like him, Alistair Clarkson, and obviously he's at North Melbourne, or he will be back at North Melbourne very shortly. When he, before, you know, we were campaigning for Tasmania to be in the AFL, he mentioned about you know, about the size of the state. And the other problem is that people say we're too small. We haven't got enough people that live here. And he went on and that to say about, and you know who I barrack for, mate, don't you? The Green Bay Packers over there in America. Very small place, and they said that wouldn't be possible. You would never have a gridiron side that would be, you know, would be you know, big enough and that to handle playing in the NFL. And funny enough, they've won majors. So
yeah.
the other one that we're compared to, funny enough, and we have our boats going there right at the moment to Geelong.
Yep.
Probably one of the most successful teams in AFL.
Yeah,
we've got boats. We've got 2 boats running there now. We should have 3.
Stop the boats.
No, we should have 3. We should have
No,
3.
makes them more.
We should have 3 there so that we get more people coming over and more ferries. And they were classed as being a little bit of a country town. Well, that's what we are down
That's
here.
what they are.
And if we have to get kids from country Victoria
Yep.
from country,
The great Shiver talked about this
Queensland,
last
from
night.
everywhere. I don't care if they're country. If they fit in here as country boys and they're not so much city guys, then it will be a great place for those kids to come down because they'll be used to not the hustle and bustle that they're getting in Melbourne and in some of those bigger cities. So that's something else to think about.
I thought then just touching back on Bellerive Oval, a great thing that Grant O'Brien said the other day. Yes, we've got AFL there at the moment, but it's not up to 2023 AFL standards. Geelong's having to rebuild their stadium. I think is it Brisbane or Gold Coast having to rebuild theirs.
Brisbane's getting done for the Olympic Games anyway, so that's getting done.
And Blunston Arena, Grant O'Brien said the last time that had a major refurbishment was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So back then it was suitable for AFL standard.
Yep.
But to today's standard, it's not up to scratch, and that's why UTAS Stadium has to be upgraded as well.
Yeah, well, that's another great thing. I mean, they're putting in money into
Well, they're going
UTAS,
to
they're
put
putting money into
66,
Penguin.
was it 66 million or whatever it was? They'll make it up.
65,
65, is it?
$130 million upgrade. So the federal government's putting in 65, and I think the Tasmanian government's putting in 65. So it's a $130 million upgrade, which is going to give them a new grandstand over in the standing area.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's correct or not, but it's supposed to bring the seating capacity up to about 24,000, I think.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's what I heard today, but don't quote me on that.
Well, look, it's well again, even up north. I mean, we're Tasmania. It's not me saying it. The AFL is saying that is the best playing surface even up there.
Yes.
In Tasmania, and we can do the same with this new stadium. It will be Tasmania. This is what.
Yeah. And it's for all Tasmania, not north versus south.
No,
Let's get rid of that.
Let's get rid of that. Those days are gone.
I don't know. If you like him or hate him, we've had Scott Wade on here, and he had he said that we are big enough to have our own team.
Yeah.
He also said about the fact that about what happened with the VFL. He said we lost the North. We based it on Hobart, and he believes that it certainly can go ahead. But mate, I just think it's great. They're actually going to have they're going to have a class ground in the northwest. They're going to have a class ground in the north, and they're going to have a class ground in the south. So.
If I can touch on where you said about the north and northwest and that, the other thing is important to say too with this stadium deal is if it doesn't go ahead, there's $360 million from the AFL that's gone into that won't go into grassroots football. So we've got clubs now that are struggling financially. Their playing services are substandard. This money is going into the clubs that are struggling. Facilities.
I'm going to ask both of you guys, right?
It bloody hurts.
I grew up in Brisbane, right?
Yeah.
And I played AFL football, Australian rules football, in Brisbane. No, at school.
At school, yeah.
We had school teams
Yep.
in both primary
did
school
here too.
and in high school. My
Same here.
wife's in school. And is AFL, Australian rules football played in school?
No, we used to have a really, really strong presence of Auskick.
It's not even in schools anymore.
Private schools it is. So you got Hutchins and Guildford Young. That's just it.
Yeah, that's it.
But public schools, no. Like when I was at high school, we had soccer during winter. We had hockey. Obviously, I loved hockey. I played hockey. Cricket during summer, and they were taken by teachers. But I think now the public schools comes down to public liability.
Yeah,
Teachers don't want the responsibility if something goes wrong, it's wrong.
Depends on the Great Northerns again.
We
Yes, he
do
is, mate.
get the hurricanes come in, like they'll come in and they'll do like
That's
one-day clinics.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying that we see them. The Jack Jumpers sometimes bring a mascot.
But this-
to do a bit of a
And that's with the AFL, with men and women. Once we get the sides up and running in the
They'll
stadium,
be doing that.
they'll be going out to schools.
Yeah.
They'll be holding clinics.
Yeah.
Do we have those clinics
You know,
going
it's-
on anymore?
No, well,
No.
So when our son was going to school, we did.
yeah. Well, Hawthorn, like my youngest boy is, like I said, 15, and when they were in primary school, I more or less had them, the youngest one, and that going for Colton. But then when Hawthorn came down from after playing a game in Launceston, came down and done a little clinic at Cambridge Primary School. and I think one of them was Morris Rioli. And my youngest boy then started going for Hawthorn.
It'd be Cyril.
Oh, sorry, Cyril. Yeah, not
He
Morris.
was good.
Cyril Rioli. Yeah, sorry.
As soon as you get a
Sorry.
visit, they all go
was his
run
uncle.
out.
You
They
can't
all
talk
come
Hawthorn
to
just like that.
His
Seriously.
uncle. I
Yeah,
didn't
but
want to
you
forget
know,
him.
yeah, and that's the thing. And he, you know, he wasn't so much of an AFL
No,
fan, but because they came down,
Kids are influenced by
Yeah.
what you see. It's
They
like a
get inspired.
basketballer
Yep.
walking into.
They're inspired by
They're
people.
inspired.
Exactly.
Ours at Belrive. I mean, I'm sure if
And if they're not doing it, then they're going to lose. If the AFL don't get in and
Yeah.
start doing this sort of stuff and getting football back into kids and getting it back into schools and doing these programs,
I think
they're
it
going
comes
to lose
down to
out
money
to
though, Jeff,
basketball.
too.
They're going to lose out to soccer. They're going to lose out
Yeah.
to cricket.
Hey,
You know,
speaking of soccer, again, sorry to get back into politics. Rebecca White, years ago, wanted a stadium for soccer,
yeah, okay,
and we don't even have a state side
yeah,
in the A League.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
to be sorry, yeah.
It's crazy, mate. Look, I'm going to just quickly get back to your group. 21,000 followers. I think that happened
Can we
today.
get
I saw
more,
it.
mate?
I saw that today.
How far can we go with
21,000.
this, mate?
I'll tell
Can we
you
get it
exactly.
up? Let's get this thing
it
moving.
a
Let's
Just
get
do
it
a
up to
quick-
40.
It's a Facebook group.
Yeah,
21,000.
let's double it.
Ticked over today.
Get it up. Come on. You people in Victoria, anyone who's online?
I just,
go.
while you're looking at that, I just want to ask you.
Well, 8 members off, 20,992.
Oh,
Come on.
8 members. Come on. 8 people get onto the Yes AFL team, Yes
Yes, stadium.
Stadium. Get
Yep,
on the
Facebook
Facebook page. We need 8 people to
Now-
get it to
Well,
21,000.
Also, just on that, I do have a group behind me that help me with a lot of stuff.
Yep.
To take this to the next step.
Yep.
Now we do have an actual Facebook page as well, which is exactly the same, which is Yes AFL Team Yes Stadium.
Yep.
And we do have a website. There's not much on there at the moment. More stuff will come soon.
Yep.
And we do have on our actual Facebook page.
How do I get one of these tops?
We
No. I'm just asking. How do you
So
get
we've
one?
got-
Look at there. Hey!
So we've got these available in yellow and green as well.
You haven't
So,
spilt your dinner on yours.
and we've got beanies and caps as well. Beanies
So
are in.
how does someone go and get something like that if they want?
Jump on our Facebook group, and up in our featured section, there is a little post up there. We're not selling them through our actual page and website at this stage, but there is a lady that's selling them. Or if people want to message me, I can arrange that as well.
Yeah, okay.
But please don't send thousands of messages. No. But yeah, getting back to our actual page, there is a donate link on that.
Yep.
It is.
Because you guys are giving all these out for free, aren't you?
Yeah, we're giving stickers out for free. So basically, we're relying on donations. When I first started the group, I jumped off my own back and brought. I ordered 100 stickers through a place in the mainland that I get some of my business stuff from.
Yep.
So they cost me a lot more than what I can get it printed here for.
Yeah.
And basically, I got my money back on that to cover my costs. And then we had a gentleman jump on board that has paid out of his own pocket in the last few months of probably around $10,000 to $15,000.
Is that right?
That he's paid where he's organised these stickers.
Wow.
And they're through I Spy Signs, and we've also got another gentleman from Michael at Signorama.
Yes.
I went and approached him about just donating probably a few hundred stickers.
Yep.
And Michael, off his own back, has donated to the cause, I would say, probably 5,000 stickers
Wow.
at no cost.
And I think that's really important to get out to people to let them know that you're paying. You guys are paying for all this sort of stuff.
Yeah. And we've distributed would be over 20,000 stickers since the group's been going. Now on that we've had our foot soldier. I call him our foot soldier, but his name's Stephen. He has gone to. He's gone to over 500 businesses Tasmania wide and contacted where he's spoken to them, and they've happily taken our stickers and to hand out to to the community. And out of, I think it's probably about 510, 520 roughly, and about 90% of them have gladly accepted.
Yeah, cool.
So Stephen, if you're watching, mate, your efforts are greatly appreciated, and without the efforts that you've gone to, we wouldn't be where we are. So thank you.
I'm just going to say too, a couple of guys like we've had Scotty Wade on. I mean, Jeff mentioned him, and a good mate of mine, but he actually did a job for AFL Tasmania, and as Jeff pointed out, that he was either liked or not liked, but I'll tell you one thing he did do. He represented that map, and what he did do, he actually had a job to do, and he was a puppet to the AFL, but that was his job, and he's very passionate about Tasmanian football, and I know there's a lot of other guys there, as I said before, that are very passionate, certainly the players that wore that jumper, I think it's important that now that, as I said, that perhaps if they've got a voice too, they may even jump on you guys, even though you played at the top level, that you may even jump on it with Mark's, with another vote to get this thing moving. So perhaps what we should do is actually go down to that site, 21,000 members, and stand on it. And then let's have a real face up there, because at the moment there's no shovels.
Take shovels.
There's no shovels. I'm going to get the kids' shovels out of there.
We're going to do that.
And even though I only do the glass and the aluminium part, I can't do the steel work. But we better start doing something down there.
Mark, mate, we're probably getting a little bit long in the tooth here, and I just wanted to.
I could go on for hours.
Well, we could. But look, mate. Just amazing what you've done. You don't encourage us. We will go for hours, mate. I just wanted to say to you,
beer's on tap, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. There's plenty of it too. How important is it for people to get on the site and say yes? And how far away do you think? I know it's got to be passed 2 times or something through the lower house and 2 times through the upper house. But how far? Now that we've got this AFL team, the Grant O'Brien appointed, and we've got the nominations committee and all that sort of stuff. How far away? So, how important is it for them to say yes, and how far away do you think we are?
It's really important to say yes, and even I'll just quickly bring you back to donate, because your donations, we're an incorporated not-for-profit group, and so all your donations help pay for these, and signs, and we're looking at billboard advertising and stuff like that down the track. So it's really important that we get this stadium up and built, because like we was talking earlier, it's not for us now, it's for the young kids coming through.
Sure.
It gives kids something to aspire to.
Yep.
Rather than getting home and straight on their phones, Xboxes, PlayStation, stuff like that.
Love his passion, great bloke. Keep pushing. Thanks, Rob.
It's it's a no-brainer, because having our own stadium and team makes it easier for the young kids coming through to be kept here in Tasmania. Now, we talk a lot about speak up, stay chatty for people's mental health.
Yep.
And there's a lot of young AFL players in the system, Australia-wide, that get into mischief because their mental health suffers. They're taken away from their families. Families have to move from, say, Melbourne to Queensland, or Western Australia, South Australia, from Tasmania to Queensland. A prime example, if I can just get off track, Ariane Tipnis,
Yes.
one of Australia's greatest swimmers.
Yeah.
She's had to leave Tasmania to go to Queensland because we don't have the facilities.
Yeah.
We have this stadium and the opportunity to build this stadium for everyone, multi-purpose, everything. It's going to have arts precincts and everything and all that. But we have to build it for the kids.
Yep.
That's right.
And just touching on the kids, we have many photos from clubs, around the state, where the young kids have jumped on board in the footy clubs. They're holding up the signs. Perfect one, you know, I loved tonight was some actual videos from Huonville Junior Footy Club.
Yep.
And there was, I think, 4 or 5 videos there. And it was touching because they're saying, yes, AFL team, we want the stadium. Now, these are, you know, kids are less than 10 years of age and less than 15 age groups.
Well, that's right.
They now are aspiring to play footy for Tasmania.
Well, that's right. It's for Tassie, and I know you mentioned before about the schools, and if we go back to the kids with the schools, when we were younger, we played in the schools. Now, when the kids come through, they're not playing in the schools. They go out to the leagues, as I call them, North Hobarts and Clarences and North Launceston and all that, and that's where those kids go. Right at the moment, and this is the biggest disgrace in Tasmanian football, and I hate to say it, but my old Clarence Football Club, they struggle.
Yep.
Glenorchy Football Club, who's had some magnificent, fantastic people, including my old man when he was alive.
Clarence, they were the two.
They were, and
greatest
they
sides.
had some of the greatest footballers that have ever played, just 2 clubs. But all these other clubs around Tasmania now, we're trying to get a stadium. These guys are trying to stay afloat. So
Hobart Football Club.
Hobart Football Club now have only got a reserve side. They're not even, the amateur sides are trying to keep their head above water, and they've got not bad facilities, but unless people go and support with all these sports, whether it be, I don't care, soccer, whatever, unless you go and support it, it's not going to work. But if the money that this what Mark's talking about,
the $360 million,
the $360 million goes to these sides, and they've been around since I was that high. That's what we're talking about. Okay, that's what we know.
And if we don't get this deal and
That's it.
done, you know,
It's done.
there's sides, you know, that or footy teams that are going to fold
Exactly.
within the next 5-10 years.
We won't have any sides.
Giving
No
those
worry about
stats for
that.
kids.
I like Juanita. She's a
Yeah.
good friend of ours over in WA and knows Damon Hedder really well. She said, we need to start, hey?
Related.
She's related. I wasn't going to go there. I was trying to keep it. But she said maybe we need to get the campaign happening on the mainland too and get them to help
Well, we
us
do.
out a bit.
The thing is with that, we do have a lot of support
Yeah, we
from
do.
mainlanders. You know, we've got a lot of ex-Tasmanians in the mainland. I've had personal requests to send stickers to, and I sent one today to Queensland, Katoomba, I think it was.
Yeah, wow.
We've had stickers going, a lot of stickers going to Melbourne. We've had New South Wales, Western Australia, South Australia, and believe it or not, we even had a gentleman, and we've got a photo in the group, Arizona, in the States.
That far away.
Oh, really?
And yep, and so that's just how far it's reached. And yes, I'm happy to admit that our group's not all Tasmanians.
No.
Majority are Tasmanians living in Tasmania or expats.
Expats, but they're still Tasmanian.
And you know, and there is probably hundreds and maybe a few thousand that aren't Tasmanian at all, but they are all supporting our cause because they believe Tasmania deserves this opportunity that we've been given.
So just excuse my ignorance then. So the cause, taking that then into action, like with, is that sort of just presenting a petition or is it writing to your local members? Is it where we?
What we've got to do, and I was going to do this towards the end of the month, is we've got to lobby the Labor politicians. Now, what I mean by that is writing them emails based on facts and your passion for football. And if you've got young kids that are playing junior footy and that want to play for Tasmania, take a photo of them in their footy colours, even with a sign. If you haven't got a sign, message me for your club and we can arrange them. But yeah, just lobby all the independents, all the Labor politicians. Keep it factual, nothing nasty, and because they're the ones we have to change their minds.
Well, even a performer that people can use and sign off and send. You know, is it?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that, but maybe I can sit down with a few people and we can come up with a pro forma thing that people can sign.
It'll keep it.
But,
That's keep
but
it
what I
that
would
way.
also say with that is in lobbying the politicians is not only send them an email, because if they see they're getting hundreds and hundreds of emails from football lovers, but also print it out and post it. Because I've been told that, like any business or anything like that, an email can
Yes.
accidentally, deliberately go
We can
missing.
hit a button and get rid of it. Can't
Yep,
we?
yep.
You know.
But whereas I've been told that if you send an actual written letter to a politician, they have to log it and personally reply to it. So I would encourage everyone to do
well
that,
done.
because if they get
Yep.
hundreds and hundreds of letters a week and see the groundswell that you know the football lovers want this stadium, that's a good way to
That's
pushing them to
excellent.
change their mind.
I'm a Labor
Yeah.
supporter and maybe get their counterparts in other states to pressure them.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. That
Yeah.
people
Yep.
in other states could have something paper,
But look-
you know, that
Yeah.
sends through.
And
as
it,
well.
yeah, just touching on that, what you said about in the other states, mainly. Yeah, feel free to write a letter to our politicians down here,
Yeah.
and whether you're an ex-Tasmanian or you're not a Tasmanian,
Yeah.
and you're a passionate football lover. Yeah, lobby our politicians as well,
Wendy
because
just loves the sport. She loves any sport.
Yep.
She's
She
brilliant.
does.
She's brilliant. Mate, I just wanted to tell quickly the story. I'm from Brisbane, and I grew up, as I said before, playing Australian rules football in primary school and went on to high school, and didn't do much after that. But my parents took me to Melbourne on a holiday when I was very, very young. And you know what? The one thing I wanted to do, I just wanted to go and see Waverley Park. That was take me to where the football's played.
I've driven past there, but yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I'm,
And that was the pride and joy.
I didn't grow
back
up
then.
in a football state, in an AFL football state, Australian rules football state, and yet I still wanted to go and see it. And I said it in the intro tonight. You know, I walk past the MCG and it's sort of like, oh wow, that's
Yeah,
the
it
MCG.
was awesome when you're there.
I drive past Marvel and I go, there it is. You know, that's amazing. I haven't been to Adelaide to see the Adelaide Oval. I haven't been to Perth to see their ovals, but I would love to go and see them. And
Same here, yeah.
And that's what Tasmania would be as well. And I know there are people out there who are watching the show tonight who are angered by what we're saying.
Well, the other, the other thing is too, as you said, that going just one step further, also with the Victorian and Tasmanian and South Australian and that out in country rural towns and that, as I said, they're trying, as I said, they're trying to keep afloat as well.
Yeah.
So, but I think they'd understand our plight, and you know, when things aren't so good, and we've got fires coming through, and we got floods and that, what do? We rally.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's what we do.
That's
We're
right.
rallying,
Yeah,
and
mate.
that's what we want, mate.
Thank goodness.
if I can-
I know I'm going to beat you to this one. Thank goodness we've got people in our community
Yep.
like yourself who stand up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
sort
you.
of
I
stuff.
appreciate that. But one other good aspect we need to really focus on too is the cost of this stadium. Okay, it's going to cost a lot of money, but there are a lot of families currently, Australia-wide, that are struggling financially. Now, whenever the wife and I go to Melbourne for a weekend, whether it's to watch football or just go and visit family over there, we're looking at minimum, including flights, accommodation, meals, minimum $2,000.
That's right.
Now, we both work,
Yep.
but there's a lot of people here in Tasmania that are unemployed or on a low wage from working. Now, having this stadium here is going to make this affordable for them to go and watch football. So what's an average ticket? $55, $65 roughly.
I tell you what, North Melbourne, you can pick them up for $10. But anyway,
But yeah, you know,
yeah.
these people
$70.
that can't afford to spend $1,000 to $2,000 for a weekend,
Yeah.
they can come from up north,
Yeah.
spend probably say $500
Yeah.
for come down, drive down, watch the footy,
Spend a weekend.
spend the
pubs,
weekend
clubs, all the
here, and
rest of it,
And
Casinos.
you're going to Melbourne
cost-
and putting money into their economy.
Yeah, we're-
not into
yeah,
our
that's
economy.
what
yeah,
I mean.
exactly.
Oh, that's
And the
right.
money's staying here in the States. So
That's it.
for those no-sayers who are saying we can't afford it, we can.
Yeah.
Because our money is staying here. And I'd rather spend $2,000 here
Yeah.
Same.
to help
Victoria.
help support young kids being employed,
Yeah.
because that's the other thing. Friday night, you knock off work. Jeremy Rockcliffe posted in our group tonight. This 5 years' time, how awesome would it be to knock off work at 5 o'clock, go and have a few drinks down Salamanca or
all the
Elizabeth
bars,
Street
all the
Pier,
clubs.
Yeah. And then go
meals,
The only thing
and walk to the game.
The only thing I'm going to say is, and this
Fantastic.
is a no vote on just a little part here. My favourite pub in town is the Hobart Brew, and I don't want to lose it. it's right. It's in the vicinity of the
But
stadium.
I've heard a comment about that, but I think it's been. I think they're going to be moved and incorporated.
Oh, really?
Close to the stadium, I think it is.
I love
So I don't think it's
Bang
going to
on.
be totally
I'm
lost.
back on yes again.
So I think it will be moved.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, I'm not much of a lover of old relics and stuff like that. I mean, Port Arthur and stuff like that. I do like things.
Yes.
But and slightly getting off topic, but it's still in the precinct. Is the shed there that they were
good shed.
just
The good shed.
shed there was just talking about. They're going to have to knock that down. Well,
That's
a lot
nice.
of comments from people saying, well,
I don't get
it's
that.
not
It's
even
full of
it's not even
asbestos.
heritage now because it's got aluminium windows
right.
and all that. So maybe the facade inside
I don't get that.
is, but again, you could knock that down, incorporate the beams and all that and
We
stuff like that.
reclaim it,
The
make it
insides,
something really
yeah,
special.
and include that into the stadium. So
Just one, Jamie. There's 4 AFL games in Launceston with Hawthorn. They do 4.
yep,
And there's 4 games in Hobart with North Melbourne.
Yep. At the
But
moment,
the
so
government's
right.
spending millions and millions of dollars on these teams. You know.
And let's
Yeah.
be
That could be
honest.
going
I think it's for $15 million in it just for Hawthorn.
I mean, I'm one-eyed Hawthorn. They're loving the deal. I'm loving
Oh,
it.
of
I
course.
love following my side.
course.
But
Yeah.
that could be Tasmania as well.
Yeah.
And if we have our own team, it's going to be fortnightly. You would think.
I think it's meant to be 7 games here in Hobart.
Yeah.
Two or 4. I think no 4 on the northwest. So maybe 3 in Launceston, and maybe 1 in.
How good is that? And
the
you
northwest,
know
so-
what, being a Hobartian, I am not against that at all.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I travel the state as a rep, and a lot of people up northwest who are anti this deal because they, I'm not travelling to Hobart every time to watch a game. I'm not going to be a member. But if there's going to be games playing up in the
There is.
northwest, I mean, I'd travel up
Yeah.
there because I travel anyway. But
We're still Tasmania.
We love
Yeah.
Tasmania.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the whole
You
thing,
like
isn't
the
it?
state.
We love Tasmania.
Yeah.
Follow the state.
I love Tasmania. I've got family up in Burnie.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if there's a Tassie play up in Penguin or West Park, I don't think West Park because it'd be too windy.
Well, I reckon they're going to upgrade
No,
Penguin
yeah.
Oval.
Yeah.
Trust me,
yeah.
I played on West Park. No.
I've watched a lot of footy there when I was younger.
It blows.
When I was a
It
kid,
was-
yeah, it does.
it's
It blows,
nearly as bad as
it blows the
Pittwater Golf
gale.
Course today.
Yeah.
So that.
But yeah, again, it just comes down to
Sorry, Bernie.
if we don't get this stadium, there's going to be. We're not going to have that extra money to go into the health.
No.
Not going to have extra money to go
We'll
into
just
education.
We'll go backwards.
Yep.
We'll
And
go
and
backwards.
the kids are going to miss out because there's not $360 million from the AFL that's going to go into grassroots.
You've
Got
got
to
it.
go interstate.
You've got to spend
Yep.
money.
Lose
You've
their
got to
kids.
spend money to make money.
Exactly.
And-
You're right. And people. One of the things that really, I'll say cheeses me off, is people saying, "Oh, if the AFL wants it, why can't the AFL pay it?" Well, AFL are a business. For them to come out and give us a license, they want us to succeed. They're not going to give us the license to fail. And Cassie O'Connor
They
and
put
the
the
Labor
parameters
Party
in place,
saying,
yeah.
the AFL can take our license after 12 years. Well, you only look at GWS and Gold Coast.
Yeah.
They're not that really financial. The millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars that the AFL have put into them to prop them up every year.
And they're not football states.
And they haven't
And
taken
they're
the
not
license.
football states.
They
That's
haven't
the big
taken the
deal.
license off
That's
them.
right.
Of
So
course not. They're going to keep pumping money in to make
this
it work.
12-year license
That's
deal, and
right,
they'll
because
take away
they don't
years.
want it to fail.
Is
that was
crap.
The,
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
the big thing. They
Certainly
don't want
not.
it
They're putting in
to fail.
parameters to make sure we
That's
succeed.
right.
Guys, we're going to have to wrap
We're
this
going
up.
to go. Can
We're
I
gonna
just
have to wrap
say,
it up.
hello to Scotty Luttrell out there following the Friday Frothies,
Scotty.
and to Robbie Thompson and to
Juanita.
Juanita and
Jamie and
Jamie,
Basil and
all those guys out there.
There's been a couple of people on there, new ones tonight, which is great to see. I just want to also throw in Look, actually, just quickly, because we're a sports show, tomorrow we're going to upload an interview we did last night with Daryl Schimmelbusch. And if you guys know Schimmelbusch, that's Wayne Schimmelbusch. This is his younger brother.
Extraordinary.
What an amazing story.
Extraordinary. If you listen to this guy,
Amazing story.
talk about a guy that
Heartaches.
that's heartaches and that in footy.
You nearly had me
This
crying.
guy is it.
Oh, jeez.
So that's 9 o'clock tomorrow
9
morning.
o'clock tomorrow morning.
It's a,
That'll be
it's a
uploaded.
must that to watch it.
Make sure you watch it because it's we're winding it up. We're winding it up. I just wanted a couple of
You can sleep in and watch it in bed.
a couple of quick things. I wanted to have a quick shout out. The FIFA World Cup starts on Thursday. The Women's World Cup. Australia are playing France tonight. We don't talk a lot of soccer, but our good mate Razor Ray is working for the FIFA World Cup, and she's going through a bit of a hard time.
Oh, okay.
Just stressed out. She's just been working too much. So Razor, we're thinking
Well,
of
Razor,
you.
we
And
love
I
you.
hope you're okay. Robbie's just put it up. Well done, mate.
Well done, Rob.
So,
You're
Razor, look after
mate.
yourself and get some rest because you bloody need it.
Yeah.
Big game on this weekend, which is Hawthorn North Melbourne. Get up, go the Roos. The other thing I wanted to say, Daniel Ricciardo looks like he's going to. He's got it. He's got it. He's got
to drive. He's got
in
to drive.
the sister team.
That's right.
He's replacing the rookie Nick DeVries, whatever.
He was on the outer. He's back in.
Big one for Rob out there. The Blues won the State of Origin.
They got to win, and they won it well.
They
too.
did. So well done to the
So shout out
Blues.
the guts to the Blues.
Well done, the Blues.
Bring the State of Origin to Tassie.
Hey, you bring that down here.
I'm not a big rugby. I'm not a big rugby fan, but I'd be going to watch.
And guys, the most important news tonight is everyone wish Glennie a happy birthday because he's turning the big 6. Well, can I say this or not?
You did already.
Well, you can.
I just said 6.
600.
600. The big 60. Glennie.
Happy birthday, mate.
When's that? Next week, is it?
Next
Oh, hang on, I'll do a hard week. No, look, thanks for that. And look, as I said, Scotty Luttrell's out there, he's a good mate of mine, and he's on the show.
Well, you're after a present or something.
No, me and Scotty go way back. But all these guys, as I said, they're all passionate, and we'll go out and have a few beers tomorrow, perhaps, and I might get me little shovel down there. I'm sorry, mate, I'm going to start.
He's going to start. He's going to start the construction.
I'm 60. If by the time I'm 70, I guarantee it'll be dug.
He would have dug a hole for the first.
Is that the World Series, Juanita? Is it? Happy birthday, Glenn. Happy birthday, Glenn, Juanita, and Rob. Damon Hedder playing. Starts on Sunday. Is that the World Series? I think it
World
is.
Series. Darts.
Well, let me know, Juanita. You'll know. Get on it.
Absolute legend, mate.
I've missed a bit, but how good is that? Yeah, just pointed at the camera there, mate. There's a little dog there.
We've got our
What's our mascot?
One of our mascot.
Gorgeous.
Level Park. Nice work. Match play. So good luck to Damon Hedder. I think that's all I got, guys, mate. You've done a tremendous job. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're not getting paid. You're just doing it because you're passionate.
Because I'm passionate. I grew up playing football when I was a kid. Umpired for 15 years, and I'm just love me football, and it's about time someone stood up to the no people.
Yeah, well done.
Because there are a lot of people out there that want things.
Yep.
So
Let's be honest.
if you
Go forward. We didn't get the cable car, but by G's, we're getting the oval.
I get the no people worried about the amount of spend and all that sort of stuff, but guys, have a look at the big picture of where this is going to go. The future of the children here is something that kids can aspire to do. The money that's going to come back into the state because it is going. We were in town a couple of days ago in the afternoon and the night, mate. It was dead. There was no one there,
and it's going to revitalise the Hobart City.
It will.
Yep, it'll be full.
It will.
It'll be full. So
Yep.
get on board,
Thanks
guys.
again.
Make sure you get onto the Facebook page. The Facebook page. Yes, AFL team. Yes, stadium. I don't know how many we've got now, but we only needed 8. So hopefully you've all got on there, and we've got to 21,000 because that would be an absolute goal. Okay, but we'll continue to push it for you, mate. Thank you so much for coming in.
No worries, I appreciate it. Thank you.
We're having a quick squeeze. We're having a quick squeeze, are we?
Yeah, just having a quick squeeze
We had
to
a
see what
drum
we've
roll.
got.
Have we made it?
I reckon